Bullfighting is the only art in which the artist is in danger of death and in which the degree of brilliance in the performance is left to the fighter's honor. That is what we are supposed to do when we are at our best, make it all up, but make it up so truly that later it will happen that way. You see, I am trying in all my stories to get the feeling of the actual life across, not to just depict life, or criticize it, but to actually make it alive. So that when you have read something by me, you actually experience the thing. You can't do this without putting in the bad and the ugly as well as what is beautiful. Switzerland is a small, steep country, much more up and down than sideways, and is all stuck over with large brown hotels built on the cuckoo clock style of architecture. His talent was as natural as the pattern that was made by the dust on a butterfly's wings. At one time he understood it no more than the butterfly did, and he did not know when it was brushed or marked. On the star, you were forced to learn to write a simple declarative sentence. This is useful to anyone. Newspaper work will not harm a young writer and could help him if he gets out of it in time. There is no hunting like the hunting of man, and those who have hunted armed men long enough and liked it, never care for anything else thereafter. But man is not made for defeat. A man can be destroyed but not defeated. Courage is grace under pressure. There is nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed. The first panacea for a mismanaged nation is inflation of the currency, the second is war. Both bring a temporary prosperity, both bring a permanent ruin. But both are the refuge of political and economic opportunists. Always do sober what you said you'd do drunk. That will teach you to keep your mouth shut. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self. There is no lonelier man in death, except the suicide, than that man who has lived many years with a good wife and then outlived her. If two people love each other, there can be no happy end to it. When you go to war as a boy, you have a great illusion of immortality. Other people get killed, not you. Then, when you are badly wounded the first time, you lose that illusion, and you know it can happen to you. Every man's life ends the same way. It is only the details of how he lived and how he died that distinguish one man from another. The only thing that could spoil a day was people. People were always the limiters of happiness, except for the very few that were as good as spring itself. For a long time now I have tried simply to write the best I can. Sometimes I have good luck and write better than I can. If you are lucky enough to have lived in Paris as a young man, then wherever you go for the rest of your life it stays with you, for Paris is a movable feast. If you have a success, you have it for the wrong reasons. If you become popular, it is always because of the worst aspects of your work. They wrote in the old days that it is sweet and fitting to die for one's country. But in modern war, there is nothing sweet nor fitting in your dying. You will die like a dog for no good reason. There is no rule on how to write. Sometimes it comes easily and perfectly, sometimes it's like drilling rock and then blasting it out with charges. There is no rule on how to write. Sometimes it comes easily and perfectly, sometimes it's like drilling rock and then blasting it out with charges. From things that have happened and from things as they exist and from all things that you know and all those you cannot know, you make something through your invention that is not a representation but a whole new thing truer than anything true and alive, and you make it alive, and if you make it well enough, you give it immortality. I always rewrite each day up to the point where I stopped. When it is all finished, naturally you go over it. You get another chance to correct and rewrite when someone else types it, and you see it clean in type. The last chance is in the proofs. You're grateful for these different chances. All good books have one thing in common: they are truer than if they had really happened.